In the past several months of this year, I've seen a lot of things that have frustrated me, that have riled me up, that have gotten my ego all so stirred. So many things that I say, oh, that shouldn't be the way it is. That shouldn't be that way. Get angry, I get frustrated. I see the way police are cracking down on Occupy protests, peaceful protests, and I get angry. I see the way regimes are cracking down on the Arab Spring, and I get angry. Or I see these laws that President Obama is signing that take our rights away, that put martial law essentially in place, that go against everything the Constitution of the United States stands for, and I get angry. And I see the way the world is destroying itself. It's eliminating biodiversity. It's destroying the nitrogen cycle. It's putting carbon in the atmosphere and changing the climate. And there's massive storms that are showing up and tsunamis and nuclear disasters. And I get angry. And I get frustrated. And I want to do something, do something, do something. And I feel so torn inside. And I know lots of people feel that same way. They feel torn inside. And they feel frustrated and angry. And I've spent a lot of my time raging and wanting other people to wake up and see it. See what's going on. Why aren't you seeing it? Can't you see all the problems? Why don't you care? Why don't you care? And that's the part of myself I've wanted to react from. From a place that judges and says no and resists and creates obstacles. But this world is a reflection of our consciousness. It is a reflection of what we desire as a species and what we allow to happen as a species and what our collective consciousness creates. It is our own greed within us and our own unconsciousness as a collective that is destroying this planet. It is our own anger and desire for power that is leading down the path to more war, towards removing people's rights. It is our own dysfunction that leaves us disconnected and partitioned and taken advantage of. And that grows out of nothing else besides our unconsciousness. It grows from attachment to ego. All of this war, all of our conflict grows from the ego, from the I am right, you are wrong, from the I want that for me, not for you. Through greed, anger, and ignorance, all the problems of the world spring forth. All products of the ego. And when these egos join together into Shia and Sunni and Christian and Islam and states like Israel and Palestine and groups of people and ethnicities and this side and that side and Russian and NATO and China and Pakistan and Taliban and U.S. Special Forces and all these groups that we create, they are collective identification with ego. All the military, industrial complex, all of the war, it is a product of our egos. All of the destruction of our planet, and the raping of its resources, and the pillaging of biodiversity is a product of our egos. And until we throw off the shackles of our ego, of believing that we are independent beings, separate from everything else, and that number one thing that we need to look out for is ourself, and that everybody else doesn't care about me, and they're out to get me, and I need to compete with them to make sure that my life is better than theirs so I can be happy and to have the nicer thing on my side of the picket fence than on the other. As long as we keep believing all of that, nothing will change. We can put in effect any law we want. We can put anybody in the presidential halls of the White House and have them in charge, any leaders we want, and put all the rules that we could and all the bureaucracy and red tape. But until we change within us, it's all for naught. We'll be back right where we were. So that is why I've taken that frustration and that passion and energy and decided to put it into making videos that might help people question that ego, that attachment to self, to see interconnectedness and interdependence. And that I might, through making those videos in my own understanding, be pushed forward in my own understanding of myself. And that I might unleash just another person who is as passionate as I've come to be in my own personal awareness. And that they might unleash somebody else who's going to say, no, this is not right, and then realize that, oh wait, what's not right is me. What's not right is me, is my own anger, my own greed, my own ignorance in my life. And now I'm looking inward to eliminate those things, to find peace in myself. And when we find peace within ourselves, we can project peace into the lives of others. That's where this revolution takes place, by a collective awakening. We're in that collective awakening. It doesn't matter who's in charge, what law is what. It doesn't matter whose conflict is trying to breed whose conflict, or what corporation is trying to seize power and control, because if we all become more aware, if we all work on diminishing our ego, that is the recipe for changing this. The world is a reflection of what we are inside. Let's find peace within ourselves. Let's find beaming smiles of joy and peace on our own faces. And let's take that into the world with us. And domino after domino will fall. The world is nothing more but a flux, a time of great change. We don't need to rage against it. We just need to spread information and spread joy and love and conquer ourselves.